There's about 10 times in the NBA season where all the NBA fans come together and we're the most excited about. Usually because we can debate and have like the most heated discussions around it. And this is this time of year because it's the end of season and we have the individual awards rolling out. But there's an issue that comes up almost every single year, specifically about MVP award, about who should win. Because the NBA does a good job of being like, we're just going to announce the awards, but not tell you what's the criteria for it. So that's kind of where the biggest issue comes in. So welcome back to the BeBall Jones podcast, where we have the discussions like this that the NBA is scared to give you the truth about. Got my boy over here, 3-year pro, 2-time DPOY champion, Nelson Haskin, and I am your gracious host, simply your favorite basketball trainer, BeBall Jones. And today we are tackling the MVP award. All right, so we're giving some real truth, the real definition, the real game behind what solidifies an MVP. So Nelson, you being a pro, you being a lifelong NBA fan, when it comes down to the MVP award, if you had to give what the league defines as MVP, as best as you can, like looking over who's won MVP and what happened that year, how would you say the league defines it, and how would you define it?
Um, I think for a long time the league is defined the MVP as the best player on the best team. So whichever team is like the number one seed or the best record in the league and their best player is usually MVP. Which I get. Like that's kind of like the easy way out, I guess you would say. But I think the criteria should definitely be more about who is affecting winning more. And that obviously can coexist with the best player and the best team because that guy is affecting winning, obviously. So sometimes that's just what it's going to be. But like, I think we need to look more at okay, who is affecting winning the most for their individual team? Because there's a lot of times, like for instance, like the Warriors with KD and Steph. That's a great team. Like obviously, they got 4 All-Stars, 4 guys that are going into the Hall of Fame on their team. Nobody's looking at them like one of them is the MVP because while they are valuable, all of them are valuable. There's a consensus feeling that the team will be all right without one of them. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So it's hard to give one of them the most valuable player award. So like you can say Steph is the most valuable, you say KD is the most valuable, but obviously before KD went there, he was an MVP. And when KD went there, Steph was already he had just won MVP. So it's hard to be like, all right, one of y'all is the most valuable to the team or the most valuable player in the league because there's a feeling that the team is okay without one or the other.
Mhm.
Feel what I'm saying? So then you give it to a guy like that's when you give it to a guy like I'm trying to think who won in 2017. Was it Giannis? No, Giannis won in 19. Trying to think. I got it pulled up. Hold on, give me 1 second.
You said 2017. So 16, 17 was Westbrook. 17, 18 was Harden.
Russ after KD left. I should have known that. Yeah. So now you give it to a guy like Russ, who had to literally make history for his team to be in the playoffs. And there was a lot of back and forth about whether he should win it because they're the 6th seed. Now they got to win the record and everything, but they're the 6th seed in the playoffs. So a lot of people were like, "Oh, that would be the lowest seeded team to ever have an MVP."
Mhm.
And there was a lot of back and forth about that, but people felt Russ had to do so much to get his team to the playoffs. He is the most valuable player, and I like that. I kind of like that. So I think we need to think about that more. I think that needs to be more of a thought process when it comes to being MVP. Who is doing the most to get their team to success to affect winning? So, uh, by those numbers, you could say a guy like LeBron gonna have a lot of MVPs, but you also say Kobe should have more MVPs, which most of us feel that way. But if people thought more about, all right, who's doing the most to get their team to win, Kobe probably has more MVPs. Because it ain't like Kobe was just missing the playoffs. Them years there, the Lakers was down after their second championship, after they back to back. It's not like they was just bad. They
Mhm.
weren't a great team, but Kobe was had them in the playoffs. So until he retired, until he was getting close to retiring. So, I think we should think about that a little bit more. Just who's affecting winning? Who's doing the most to get their teams over the hump night in and night out?
I think the league goes based more off storyline and narrative. Because which one sounds the
Yeah,
best
that's
of winning MVP? It's like, oh man, we had this guy who first off, this how they gonna spin it. We had a great two-man team right here. Oh, one of the guys left. So this year he has to redeem himself because he's known as being a ball hog and the narrative around him, he's not a great teammate. But somehow he's keep willing this team that just lost this superstar player. He's willed them to the playoffs. The sixth seed, he just willed them to a winning record. And he's doing it in a historic season. This guy averaged a triple double throughout the entire season. We haven't seen this in 50 years or however long it was. This is history in the making.
Mhm.
He has to win MVP. Oh, this guy who just they create new defense to defend this guy. Like we've never seen anybody get defended from behind to try to score. Like we've never seen this before. Like this is crazy. This man averaged, yeah, like a month where he was averaging 40 points a game. We haven't seen this since that '05, '06, or 07, whichever year it was for Kobe. We ain't seen this since, this tier of Jordan. We ain't seen this since AI did this back in the day. This man is creating new ways within the game. We just keep seeing him reinvent himself. Oh, this young light skinned guy, he's the new wave of the face of the NBA. We ain't seen nobody shoot like he can. Oh, you can't win doing what he doing. Oh, you can. Oh, look at that. It's crazy. This man's redefining what it means to be a winner and what it takes to be a championship guy. So league gonna spend whatever sound good for them. It's like, man, I can sell this. I get some money behind this. That's the one. Yeah, he gonna win MVP. This overseas guy, he's the first guy to win most improved and MVP. He's came from nothing. He's doing everything willing his brothers into the league. Oh yeah, let's. I think he fits to win that and win DPOY in the same year. We ain't seen this since 30 years ago. Yeah, let's spin that block again. It's there. It's narrative. It sells. It's sexy. Oh, you got shoe coming out? Yeah, Nike, go do your thing. Yeah, Adidas, Under Armour, whoever. Y'all do your thing with them. So I think it's really narrative. That's what the league pushes. I think I agree
Yeah.
with you in terms of who impacts winning should be the MVP the most. Because like you said, Russ, people like, oh, he had the stat pad to get that joint done. No, bro, they were losing. Like there was some stat that came out, um, and it wasn't just the first year; it was almost every year. Like they win. The win percentage when he averages a triple double or has a triple double that game is a lot higher than when he doesn't. So I don't know if that's a terrible team or just credit to how great he is and what he does statistically impacts the game and winning so much, and it just shows up in that way. And so for him to have that behind him, it's like, bro, why would I not win MVP? So it's like it gets to a point too where it's like it's crazy that he ain't win it the next year, but it's like James Harden had just a crazy of a season. Well, you ain't seen nobody average triple doubles back to back either, so I don't know what to say about that. But I think it's really more narrative based on what the league actually goes with, and I think it should be more based off of what I'm doing impacts winning so much. But the pushback I do have on that sometimes is like you have the conversation of, oh, if you just remove them from the team, how good are they? Or if you just swap these players out with this player, how good are they? I kind of dislike that conversation sometimes. I think you said something about that before too. Of who you said
Mhm.
something about it?
Bill Simmons said if you take it was about SGA. He
Mm,
said if you took SGA off the Thunder and replaced him with Pods from the Warriors, they would still win 50 games. And people, some people was like, yeah, and some people was like, nah. But I thought it was very interesting take of like, okay, he has a point because when the SGA
mm,
doesn't play, they still win. They have a winning, record and percentage. And I don't always like to put whole lot of stock into stuff like that because if SGA misses 10 games in the season and they say, oh, in the 10 games he hadn't played, they like 7-3, winning 70% of their games. And then you don't really think about it a lot of times. You just look at the numbers, but then 8 or 9 of them games was against bad teams. You know what I mean? It could be that way in the NBA. Maybe y'all flew over to Washington and the SGA didn't play, and y'all beat the Wizards, and y'all flew over and beat the Nets. And then, you played the Knicks and lost, and then went back to OKC and SGA were playing again. You know what I mean? Stuff like
Mhm.
that happens a lot, but we don't really look at the context of the numbers. We just say, oh, well, he has a winning record. When they have a
Yeah,
winning record when he's not playing. So I don't like to put too much stock into that. But I do think OKC, if you replace SJ with a good player and like just like an average player, instead of like just taking him off the team completely and like just figure it out, I do think OKC is definitely still in the 45 to 50 wins range. But
yeah,
more than likely close to 50.
yeah. Because I always say it when it's like just remove him from the team completely. How good are they? I'm like, bruh, that's a not
The
like,
team built around him.
exactly. So of course they're going to be terrible. If you remove the engine from a car, the car ain't finna go nowhere. You can push it, but you ain't going nowhere fast, and you ain't going nowhere far. Same
Mhm.
thing when you move the best player off of the best team. That's the dumbest conversation I've ever heard for that, and I can't stand when they do that. Well, if you took him off, how good are they? Most teams ain't finna be that good. Like the whole team is framed around him and his style of play. So I hated that. Then I hate when they do like the whole swap for swap. If you remove Jokic and put him with the Thunder, you put SGA on the Nuggets. How good are they? That's stupid too. I don't care if it's position for position. If you replace Wemby and Joker, you swap them two. Well, I'm still framing the whole team differently because Wemby's mainly defense, Jokic is mainly offense. Still not a smart comparison of a swap
Mhm.
too, because I'm gonna put a bucket getter with him that can facilitate and get the offense going more with Wemby versus why would I put a facilitator with Jokic when he's doing that? I'm gonna put defense around him and some snipers and give me one bucket getter to kind of do that on a if he's inside, I'm have outside, so a Kobe and Shaq type of thing. So like it's just lazy comparisons to be like, oh, I'm gonna just swap this and pull this and it ain't that simple, bro. This ain't 2K. You just dominating no matter what you put out there. It's a little more nuance to it. So I hate those two conversations. But I will say, like you said, swap them with an average player. I can expect that a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like what it look like now. So
Yeah, because you got
that's a
somebody
more
in their
interesting
position.
conversation. Yeah, that's a more interesting conversation to have because it's more nuance. It's like, okay, now let's kind of play around and see.
Well, if we took that route, let's think about we ain't got to do all six, but like, well, whatever you want to do. Let's think about the main MVP candidates. If you and let's think about what their teams would look like if you replace them with an average player. So,
Mhm.
like we already said, SGA, we still believe they get close to 50 wins, right? We agree on
Yep.
that. So then let's say Luca. You take Luca off the Lakers, and we give him a point guard. So let's say we give him name me a average point guard. Who would you say is average point guard? I don't want to be disrespectful to nobody, but
Yeah, I don't know why I had the guy in my brain, but let me just all right, so I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna go to NBA.com, I'm gonna go to players, I'm gonna go to positions, I'm going to guard, I'm gonna scroll, and I'm stopping at Max Christie. See a fair comparison.
I guess you could say that's average, y'all.
All right, so Max Christie, very
Max
average
Christie.
guard in the NBA. Max Christie.
I think you put Max Christie at the one, Austin Reeves at the two, and you got old man LeBron. I think they winning 40 games, maybe 35. They under 500 though. And for context, the Lakers won 53 games this year. So they had a great record, but I think they for sure at 40 or below. Like they gonna be playing team, if you
Mm.
ask me.
I,
Because
I
Luca do
get
so
them.
much. He's so like ball centric.
Yeah,
It's hard to think about them without him. Because they still got Bron and AR obviously still get a bucket. But without Luca, the team is not looking great. But
yeah.
we
I
finna
think
see right real fast.
yeah. I give him about play in the 6th seed at the highest, honestly, man. Look like let me see what the let me pull up the rankings. All right, so Western Conference rankings in the NBA right now. Yeah, they're 4th seed right now with 53 wins. Your move, Luca, for me, you bumped the Rockets up, you bumped the T Wolves up. They right there around Trailblazers. Trailblazers had 52 wins. So they between 6 and 7 seed for me. That's about where I have them.
Trailblazers at how many win? 42.
42. I said 52.
Yeah, I was supposed to say, hold on, they was in the play-in.
Oh, my bad, my bad. Yeah, 42
Uh,
wins. And the Suns had 45. So yeah, I say about 40 wins is about where I would have them at.
they in there,
Yeah.
play-in team.
All
Yeah.
right. And who else we had? Jokic. Let's do Jokic.
Yoke. I say Nikola Vucevic. That was the first name I came up with.
Vooch.
You ever replace Jokic with Vooch? I think they okay because you still got Jamal Murray. You still got what's Cam Johnson. For reference, the Nuggets won 54 games, so one game better than the Lakers. But Yoke obviously gets everybody involved, and that's kind of part of how the Nuggets move. They don't really have a legit point guard. He is the point guard.
Mhm.
So I think that's what their downfall would be. But Vooch still can give you some post scoring and some rebounds. But now we just need Jamal Murray to really be like our main scorer every night. And I mean, I feel like he can do it. It's kind of hard to see without Yoke taking so much attention. But now it's
I ain't
like,
gonna
all right,
lie.
Murray, we need you.
I think the Nuggets are looking at they're going from the 3rd seed to fighting for a play-in spot. I'm talking like 40 and below, honestly. Just because how much of Yoke, like he averaged triple double. He's Westbrook with more help,
Leading,
essentially.
leading the league with points. I mean, leading the league in rebounds and assists, too. That's the
You
crazy
feel
thing.
me? So that's why I think they take a bigger hit. So you're losing the league leading rebound, the league leading playmaker, and he is the offense. Like no matter where he is on the floor, you're predicating your offense around him. So even if you did replace him with like dang, what's my boy? He's a good playmaker too. Um he played with the Nuggets back in the day before they decided to go with Yoke. Dang, what's his name? Ah, boy.
Um,
You know who I'm talking about.
oh,
Let me get it.
man. There's another European guy, too, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Joseph
man.
Nurkic. I think that's his name.
It was Nurkic, Yusuf Nurkic.
Yes.
Yeah,
Him. He's a poor man's Jokic. I hate to say that, but he's a poor man Jokic. Like he can have
that's
a
an
good
accurate description.
10, 6, and 4. He can give you some good numbers. He can give you some good playmaking. He's solid. He can do what Jokic does, but it's if Jokic is A, he's a C, which is he's about an average player. And so if you replace Jokic with him, you looking at trying to fight for a play-in spot. I'm talking like OG ranking, like without the play-in, you are at let me see. So high 30s in the wins, maybe. Like you mid to high
Yeah,
30s, I
because
think.
when I look at their roster, they bench not good. That's their main issue as a team, I
Mhm.
think. Because um you got Yoke, you got Aaron Gore and Jamal Murray, obviously. Then Cam Johnson and I think Tim Hardaway Jr. starts for them. And then off the bench, you got Christian Braun, who's solid, and then Tyus Jones, Deron Holmes. You know, it's not very good when it comes to off the bench. Jonas Valanciunas comes off the bench for Jokic. Peyton Watson's pretty good young player.
Mhm.
But I feel like you take Yoke off that team, the facilitating is gone. They don't have a legit point guard no more. And now we depend on Jamal Murray. So I think you're about right. I think we definitely looking at 40 and below for them
Mhm.
also.
Yeah, man. I think they take the biggest hit just because he provides so much and there's so little around him. And like I said, he reminded me of
Yeah.
what Westbrook had. Like, no offense to like Oladipo and Paul George, because I don't want to shade Jamal Murray either. Like, should have been an All Star. Like, love and respect for him, but he just has to do so much. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like it's just too much you're getting from him to where if you replace him with somebody who can do what he does, but at a lower level, you're not getting anywhere near the output production from the team wise because he's providing so much that's contributing and impacting winning. So like Jamal Murray gonna drop 30 for you, cool. But is he gonna step up and add and be a playmaker now? He gonna step up and have the playmaking ability to facilitate more. I don't think he has the skill set to be that high level of a scorer and be that high level of playmaker. Now you're stealing from his game. So I don't know, man. I think Jokic is gonna be the biggest drop
Yeah.
off if you replace him.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. You might be right because they only have a legit point guard because of Yoke.
Mhm,
Like, they don't start a legit point guard for real. Jamal Murray, you could say, is a point guard, but he ain't a legit point guard. You know what I mean? He's more of a scorer. And then they start like him and Tim Hardaway Jr. Ain't no real point guard out here. They know Yoke gonna facilitate, and that's really crazy to think about. That you got like a point center in the league right now. But yeah, he definitely there's gonna be a big drop off without. He just got too much production in
mhm.
all facets of the game, offensive. So way too much production. Leading the league in rebounding and assists, the first player to ever do that. That speaks a lot for itself. It's tough to overcome not having that, or to have a big gap less than that. If Vooch was the starter or Nurkic or somebody, that'd be
Yeah.
tough. So he might have the biggest drop off for his team.
Yes. I think that goes into like the history of what we talking about. Of like when you
So
start playing that game, who each player each season, who has the biggest hit when you replace them with an average player. If we're gonna go by what Bill Simmons said, you feel me? Like that's kind of what you're dealing with. Like you're gonna see somebody like Kobe. You take Kobe off them Lakers, you talking about lottery pick.
and they would. Same for Bron, everything. So that takes me back to my original point. Should we think more about who is affecting winning when it comes to MVP? And not so much about just, like you said, storyline, but also best player on the best team. Should we think more about who's affecting winning in that way? Because like you just said, Steve Nash got that MVP, them two MVPs that people feel like Kobe should have, or somebody else. But Steve Nash was the point guard and driving engine of the number one team in the league,
Mhm,
or seeding wise. So does he deserve it over Kobe, who's doing the most to get his team in this position? Because if you remove Kobe from the Lakers and replace him with Iman Shumpert, all respect to Iman, I love Iman. You replace Kobe with Iman Shumpert, that's a lottery team.
mhm.
So, you know what I mean? Should we think more about that? I wanna get your thoughts because I feel like we should.
For sure. I think that's definitely the way we should lean towards because I think that's more of a nuanced conversation we can have now. I don't think it's gonna be as cut and dry every year, but the tricky part of it, I'll get into later, but like I think we should get in that conversation more because that provides a lot more clarity around who is the most valuable. Like the key word in this is valuable. Okay. It's not just the best player on the best team. It's not that simple. 'Cause I think that's a different award. That's gonna be more likely called the champion. That's called the finals MVP. That's a different award. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like if we're grading you off of the regular season performance and we're
Exactly.
basing you off of what happened in the regular season, it shouldn't just be the best team. Because if that was the case, Curry and Katie should have had co-MVPs pretty much. You know what I mean? Like we should see more of that happening. So the fight would end up being who can be the number one overall seed, and then who's the best player on that number one overall seed. Then that's going to be determined at the MVP every year now. That's it. So like we said, you got Thunder number one seed, so it'll be SGA this year. Pistons number one seed, it will be K Cunningham. Now we're fighting between them two, debate of being between them two of who will be MVP. That's it. And it shouldn't be that simple because that's discrediting what Jokic has done. That's discrediting what uh JB has done. That's discrediting all the other guys that's in the race. To just be like, oh, because we're not the number one seed, we're not going to be a chance for MVP. That's kind of like a lazy way to go at it. So it should be based off of how much of what I'm doing and bringing to the floor is impacting my team winning or losing. That's how we start the conversation.
Exactly.
I think that's how I should start and begin. Like how much of what I'm doing contributes to win and loss column. That's the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's a little too much storyline involved in MVP, and I get storylines. You kind of sells, makes money a little bit, but I think you kind of mess with history a little bit when you do stuff like that because hoop heads like you and me, we care about who win the MVP, and we remember.
Yep.
There's a lot of guys, and this is something that as a player you have to remember. There's a lot of guys that ain't remember. You know what I mean? And as a player, you kind of have to accept that, especially if you're in a role. But everybody wants to be remembered. That's just part of the game. So, like, case in point, Carmelo Anthony never won nothing of note, you would say, other than all NBAs and all stars. Scoring, obviously, all that was good. I think he led league in scoring 1 year, something like that. He did a lot of great things, but we remember Melo
Mhm.
because he's so big in the culture and all this other stuff. We remember Melo playing for New York, the King of New York for a long time. We remember Melo. But then you get a guy like, let me think, Darren Williams. You get a guy
Right.
like Darren Williams. They don't talk about Darren Williams no more. We might bring him up on something like this, you know what I mean? Hoopers know, hoop heads know, and remember. But the general population don't just if you wasn't there, you ain't gonna remember Darren Williams like that. That's what I mean. Like if I wasn't there to see you play, do I still know who you are and know of you? That's what I mean. Because people aren't talking about Darren Williams. So
Mhm.
therefore he don't get remembered. Matt Barnes said this to Pat Bev in one of their back and forths on the internet. It was when Pat Bev came at CP, talking about CP and how, CP ain't that good and you a cone, everybody in the league know you a cone, stuff like that. He just kind of going crazy on CP when he was on ESPN or whatever that short time. And Matt got on the internet, he was like, man, with all due respect, Pat, they gonna talk about CP when he's done. They gonna bring him up, they gonna remember him. Guys like me and Pat don't get remembered.
Mhm.
And I think about that a lot because it's like when you don't give the MVP to a guy who did so much to get his team into this position or to help them get in the playoffs and maybe win a round, whatever the case may be, there's a chance we don't remember them. We hoop heads will know people from that root for that team and that city, but 20 years from now, when there are more kids that are grown that wasn't there when he was playing, will they remember him?
Yeah.
And that's something that people don't think about enough when it comes to history of the game. And it's just basketball. Like some people ain't gonna say. Some people like, man, it's not that serious. It's not to you, but for the guy involved and people like us who actually love basketball, care about what's happening, and pay attention. And 15 years from now, when we say, "Man, y'all kids don't know how good Luka Doncic was," and they say Luka ain't even win MVP.
Mm-hmm.
We just got what we can't sell him. Oh, bro, he was better than this person and that person and that person. They're gonna be like, man, he ain't even got an MVP. James Harden won MVP. He ain't better than James
Mm-hmm.
Harden. That's the kind of stuff that's gonna be getting said.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's just one of them things, man. So that's why you gotta win, because like championships get remembered. But everybody ain't gonna be so lucky. You know what I mean? Everybody ain't gonna be so lucky to win a championship. But a select few guys are good enough to win an MVP in certain years. And then when you get to, then people get to saying, like, with the 65 game rules, they're like, oh, well, you just do it next year. You'll get it next year. You don't know that. You don't have, it's a reason guys be flip flopping in all NBA. Go look at some of the guys that you think was the best player in their position for multiple years. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of them ain't got a bunch of all NBAs first teams in a row. You know what I mean? Y'all talking about, oh, you get it next year. True, he probably win MVP next year. Yeah, Luka led the league in scoring, but that's SGA MVP. Luka probably get it next year. No, that doesn't happen. People don't just have MVP years every year. I know we get a little spoiled because we see guys win, like Shea will win a back to back, and Giannis will win a back to back, and then Jokic win a back to back. That's 3 people in 8 years. You realize that? So no, you're not just gonna get it next year. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Another guy is going to also have an MVP year next year, and you talking about, Luka probably get it next year. No, you mess with
The,
history when you do stuff like that.
the beautiful case of this is look at Giannis, right? Let me go back. So Giannis' first MVP came in 18-19. We're crossing up on almost 10 years since that man won MVP. Like, we're closer to being at the 10-year mark of him winning MVP. He won back to
Literally.
back. So in our mind, at 2018, 2019, 2020, 2020, we thinking, oh, he'll get another MVP at some point. Like, he can. It's not too far fetched for him to win another MVP, probably 2 more MVPs the next 5 years, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, we saw Luka kind of on the come up, like, he probably don't get in there and sneak one away. This other guy, we didn't see Yoke coming up the way he did. We didn't see, uh, shoot, who else got one? We didn't see SGA evolving like he did. Joel Embiid was in the mix, but not MVP caliber. And so just that fast, we saw Giannis being from dominant force, one of them guys, possible. We ain't even talking about the man being face lead no more. That's how fast he turned. So we going from arguable face of
Crazy.
the league, back-to-back MVP. The Bucks gonna be a powerhouse if they ever figure out how to actually build around him, which they still haven't done. Which is another conversation. I'll let you handle that because that's your boy. So that's another episode in itself. But that's how fast things can turn from back-to-back MVP, champion, DPOI. He's for sure he can get about 2 or 3 more and get about 3 or 4 MVPs total. Now that man ain't sniffing nothing. Like, he had a run earlier this year before he started dealing with injuries. Like, oh yeah, Giannis probably MVP talk. But look how fast that stops. You have 1 or 2 injuries, and you start talking about the 65 game rule now, which is I'm still not the biggest fan of. But dealing with injuries, you're dealing with a Joel Embiid year where he going crazy. You deal with a Westbrook triple double, a James Harden averaging 40. You deal with these random pop ups every couple years, and it's like, oh snap! I guess Giannis
Ain't nothing
ain't,
guaranteed.
ain't nothing guaranteed. So it's kind of, oh, he'll win it next year. No, it's not, bro. There's only one man that we've been like, he gonna get it, and that's LeBron James. That's it. That's it. Everybody else is like,
But
you open for the best.
and think about this. Braun won his last MVP in 2010. No, I'm lying. 2013 in Miami. If you was a betting man and somebody said in 2013, how would you be willing to put money that he would win another MVP? How much would you do it? If I told you it's minus 500, Braun win another MVP, you put $10 on it. That $10 turned to 50. If you put $100, it turned to 500. Put 1,000, it turned to 5,000. If you was a betting man, you'd say, yeah, Braun gonna win another one. He the best player in the world. He ain't slowing down, especially in 2013,
Mm-hmm.
because that's 10 years in. He in his prime. He 28, 29. So you would be like, yeah, Bron gonna win another one. He got another good 8, 9 years left in him. Let alone do we know it's gonna be 14, but whatever. You would be betting money that Bron would get another one, especially after watching what he was doing in Miami. And they won back to back. Like, yeah, Bron will get another. Never won another MVP again. Granted, he got 4, but never won another one. And he was in his prime. LeBron James. He was 28 years old, 29 when he won the 4th one. In his prime. Never won another one.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry was unanimous MVP. If I told you, would you be willing to bet Steph Curry wins another MVP before it's over? He only got 2. You'd be like, yeah, I mean, he was just unanimous. Probably gonna do something else crazy. He probably gonna get another MVP year. Never won another. KD won one in OKC, going crazy in OKC. Went to the finals, lost to Miami. He was young. If I said, would you be willing to bet money he win another MVP? Yeah, he just took a team to the finals. They're gonna be around for a long time. He young, Russ Westbrook young, James Harden there, Serge Ibaka there. They young. They gonna be competing for a long time.
Yep.
KD never wins another MVP. That's what people need to realize. This doesn't just happen. Kevin Durant, a top 20 player all time. Just saying modestly. Top 20 player all time. 1 MVP. You be
Mm-hmm.
willing to bet he's gonna win another. So stop saying, you just get it next year. To get to it next year. Because I feel like we do that with Luka every year. Just being real. I'm not even like a big Luka guy. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Luka. I love his game, but like I'm not just a big Luka fan. But since he's been in the league, which is this is his 7th year, I want to say 6th or 7th. Since he's been in the league, he been in MVP talks because he been first team All NBA every year except for last year. He been first team All NBA. Ain't never been. I don't even think he been runner up in MVP vote, and he be averaging 30 because it's been Giannis, it's been Jokic, then it was Embiid, now it's Shea. All the years he been in the league. Now here we are, the league is scoring. Got the Lakers to 50 wins. SGA just the best player on the best team. Don't get me wrong, SGA is great. He's amazing. He gonna win MVP. He the best player on the best team. But whole time, the Thunder are way better than the Lakers. And I mean way better. Like, don't get me wrong, but Luka's affecting winning. He's got a 50-win team. They won 50 games, 54. SGA, the best player on the best team. They won 62. Give him the MVP. Sorry, Luka. Maybe you get it next year. No, that's what y'all said last year. And the year before that. And the year before that. So, I don't know, man. I don't get a vote. I wish I did, but it's kind of crazy to me.
Do you think there should ever be co-MVPs? Should there ever be a
No.
year where we look at it and it's like these 2 guys are the 2 best guys in the league? They had the 2 best seasons, co-MVP. Should that ever happen?
No. I think that denies the point of an MVP. One of y'all is the most valuable player. And if it's close, they're going to give it to the team with the best record. And that's understandable. But giving out co-MVPs, I feel like the players wouldn't even want it. They're like, I don't want that, bro. Get to them. It would hurt their pride. You know what I mean? They'll take it as disrespect if you gave them a co-MVP, especially in a really historic year or a really great year for one of them. I mean, I don't want no co-MVP, man. And I would understand because I'd probably be the same way. Just being real.
I don't know, man. I think about when I first thought about that, I was like, I don't know. Because I think this is really a breaking case emergency type of situation. I'm not saying it should happen every couple
Yeah.
years. I'm saying literally in the 70-some years, we should have had at best 5. That's max out. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and be like last year, oh, Jokic and SGA had some great years. No, pick one. It's Jokic. Okay, end discussion. No, it's SGA. End of discussion. Oh, Kobe and Steve. No, Kobe or Nash. We ain't doing it every year. But in the history of the game, there's probably been about no more than 5 times we could look at it and be like, man, Westbrook had a triple double. That's history on a number 16. It's like, but we did just see Harden or let's do it like this. You had Curry, 739 win Warriors, and you had Westbrook at triple double. Which history means more? It's like, ooh, mm, how
That is a great point.
you see what I'm saying? That's like these are very far few in between situations that should happen and could happen or will happen. But it's occasional, and I can't even. I should have thought about it deeper and looked at the years, give you examples. But I believe there will be a situation where it comes up and it's like, okay, both of y'all went stupid. We don't want to, like you said, I don't want to look back in history and say we made the wrong choice by not having US MVP, co-MVP. So if that's the case, where SGA went crazy this year and they broke the record, hey bro, you stamped it. When Yoke came behind, it's like, oh, I'm leading. Let's say he was leading scoring. I'm leading in scoring, rebounding, and assists, and an average triple double again. Co MVP. Like that's what I would see it being like. Both of y'all just went crazy and broke his. We've never seen anybody lead the league in those three stats. We've never seen a team win as many games in one season. Co MVP. But because you think about how crazy I had to make up the situation to be, that's how seldom it should be. Like the odds of that happening again, very low. So should it be that often? Heck no. Boy, no. Get out my face with that. Pick one, be a man, stand on it. But I think there are very, very, very slivers of hope of that ever happening. So I don't want there to be no cop out and be like, let's give him co-MVP. Y'all better, y'all fired, bro. Whoever just came up with that and thought it was a good idea for this year, all
Oh,
y'all
yeah,
fired.
fine.
Get somebody else in the seat, man.
We getting
Yeah.
whole new voters next year.
Man, all y'all get up out of here.
That's a great point though, man. Like the 73-9 Warriors happened in the same year as Russ triple double, first triple double year. That's a tough one because that would be a discussion to have. I wouldn't mind if it was like a very like. I think the only time in my mind right now, off the top of my head, that I could say maybe they should have did that was probably on some like Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain thing. You know what I mean? Like Bill Russell leading his team as the way he was, and Will Chamberlain averaging 50 and 20. That's a moment of like, man, let's give him co MVPs.
Mm-hmm.
That I can see Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain. I can't really think of nothing else another time off the top of my head like that. Maybe Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. Because Yoke won two, and then they gave one to Embiid, and Yoke won the next one. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
that one was the time to be like, here's a co MVP because y'all play the same position. I don't know, but them just the ones
Yeah.
that pop up in my mind off the top of my head. I still don't think the players would like it though.
So I think that brings up a good idea for this. It's like, should we start having two separate awards? Like, should we have the most valuable player award and the best player award? Because I feel like those are two separate things. The most valuable player is one thing, but then the best player that year is a whole separate thing. Like, should the NBA create that other award to separate those two?
Yeah, that is definitely two different things. The most valuable player is not always the best player in the world. Otherwise, Michael Jordan to have 9 and Bron to have 15. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And they don't really like stuff like that. But back in the day, they used to have like a separate award for stuff like that. I don't know if you knew it, but like they used to have a long, long time ago. I saw this a while back, but they used to have a computer generated award called the IBM Award, where like basically it was like a computer computer generated, like I said, but like it was an algorithm basically that determined who the best player was that season
Mm-hmm.
based on like efficiency and basically all numbers based on numbers. Who was the best player that season? And they did it for a long time, but they discontinued it like in the early 2000s. I think because David Robinson won. David Robinson supposedly won a lot of them, and then they stopped doing.
Yeah. Hey,
So
people
I
know
don't know.
our love for David Robinson, how he should have been. So,
Hey, I got to meet David Robinson, dog, one day just to tell him. I'm gonna send him the link. I'm like, hey, bro, I want you to check this out to that episode. But yeah, let me pull it up. So they did it from 1983, 84, all the way up until 2001, 2002. And David Robinson won the most. He won 5. And then Charles Barkley won the second most with 3. Michael Jordan won 2, Shaq won 2, and a couple guys won 1. But they said they rewarded rebounding a good amount. So it makes sense that a big man won most of them, Shaq, Charles Barkley, David Robinson. And then efficiency. So bigs usually are the most efficient field goal wise, percentage wise. And then you throw in blocks and stuff. It would make
Mm,
sense that they win it. But that's a kind of an unbiased way to look at it. I don't know. Maybe they should bring that back because it's like it gives unbiased voting, not voting, but like it gives like an unbiased metric to decide who's the best player, quote unquote, without like just how people feel. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think they should, man, some version of that, because especially now with AI, how it is and how, the voting is and stuff. Because I think we should keep the human element of saying who's the most valuable, because yes, the computer can generate certain stuff, but I think we need to keep the eye test in some capacity and all this stuff. 'Cause I don't wanna get too cute with the stats and the, advanced analytics and all that stuff. Like, that's cool, that has its place, but I don't ever want us to forget the eye test. Because when you see the dominance that a player has, I don't think anything should overdo or outweigh that, because we saw the dominance of James Harden during that run. We saw the impact that players have for, uh, you see how Jokic is like, how do you stop this dude, bro? Like, you see SJ, it's like, what do you do against that? Like, the computer doesn't analyze that, so we need to keep that component in there. So I think it would be fire for us to
For
separate
sure.
those two and keep it where, okay, by numbers, by eye test, and just by sheer dominance of what, oh, the Warriors won this many games. Bro, y'all finna break history. This is the best player. Like, in spite of the team success or what, or in credit to the team success, this is the best player. But now on this other page over here, this is the most valuable player. Yes, he's not on the best team. Yes, they don't have the best record, but this dude's doing something crazy over here. And like we said before, if you substitute this player with just the average player, y'all not getting anything close to this results. So I think it'll be great to separate those two. Kind of like NFL, they do the MVP, but then they do like the best offensive player and defensive player of the year. I don't know if we should go that
Yeah.
deep into it. Man, we probably could, but I really want us to, before we get there, if we had to just do one thing, do the best player of the year versus the MVP of the year. I think those are two separate conversations. That helps, like, I don't be like the whole everybody gets a cookie thing, but it does help us differentiate between LeBron knowing he was the best player all those years ago, but it's like, bro, Westbrook just went crazy, Harden just went crazy, Giannis just went crazy. So you got to respect that. So I think they should separate best and valuable in that way.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have something like that, especially with like AI and stuff now. We
Hmm.
could definitely have like uh a computer metric, like a system to give us like, all right, who was the best player this season? Because voter. The thing about voting, another thing that like blows me about voting is like voter fatigue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of something like that. This something like this would like stop that or
Hmm.
like offset that. I guess I should say because people always say the hardest MVP to win is the next one because you can have the exact same season
Westbrook.
and they give it to somebody else. Well, yeah, Russell Westbrook's a prime example. Russ getting triple doubles, averaging triple double the first season, and we give him the MVP like this is historical. Then he do it 4 more times, and it's like this Russ.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it kind of sucks because it's like, dang man, Russ made averaging a triple double like ho hum, like oh yeah, that's just Russ. Good job, Russ. But I get the Thunder at the time, and then the Wizards. He still did it with the Wizards. They weren't winning like other teams, so I get not wanting to give it to him for that tip. But they was literally the sixth seed when they won it when he won MVP the first time, and that was part of the debate of like no MVP has ever been on a 6 seed team, but what this guy is doing is
Mhm.
unprecedented. So he deserves to be awarded for that. So that would have been a year for sure he would have won this award because you averaging a triple double and you got a winning record when you get a triple. Your team has a winning record when you get one, and when you don't, they got a losing record. This is like something to almost like a consolation prize. Like, you know what, Russ, you statistically are the best player this season. You had the best season, but we're gonna get the MVP to the guy that's winning more games, and that's okay to
Mhm.
say. You know what I mean? I think that would give guys more of a feeling of like, okay, at least I was recognized. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But do you if we did implement that, do you think that would start to be the feeling of it, of like, this is a consolation prize just because so, like, okay, there's the idea of the best player on the best team should win MVP. But then there's the other side of, nah, this player been killing, and because of injuries and because of load management or whatever it is, they're not trying to go for the number one overall seed. So like, not trying to throw Denver in this conversation in that aspect, but like if Denver was in that conversation, like we know what we can do. Like the Heat is a better example. They went the number one seed every single year during that time. I think they had a couple times with a second seed, maybe once when they was like third seed. I think it was like
Right.
we know what we can do in the playoffs. I'd much rather just get there and focus on Boston or focus on Chicago and just do what we gotta do in the meantime. I don't really care about, getting the number one overall seed. Like it's not the biggest thing. And so this LeBron get knocked that year and be like, oh, you weren't the number one overall seed. So we're not finna credit you for it. It's like, nah, by the time playoff hit, we know what we're gonna do. We smacking off whoever
Mhm.
is the 7 seed. We smacking off whoever is the 6 seed. I'm worried about the Eastern Conference Finals and the finals. We know it got to match up with Boston during that time. We got to get ready for Rondo, Ray, KG, and Paul and Perk. We got to get ready for that. Whoever the Thunder, not Thunder, the Raptors, we not worried about y'all. It's like, man, what is this? This is a warm up for the next game. Let's go ahead and sweep y'all or gentlemen sweep y'all. The Knicks, that's cool. Respect to you, Melo. Smack y'all up out of here too. It's like, all right, cool. Chicago, Derrick Rose. All right, that young bull coming. We gotta get ready for him. You gotta see him, Joe Kim, Noah, Luol Dang, young Jimmy Butler at the time. Okay, you perfect for that. So the Heat not gonna win number one overall seed every year. All right, cool, respect. So did that knock LeBron for being the best player on the MVP that year? So do you think that'll end up being like a thing where it's like, man, I should have won MVP, but I'm winning best player, or I'm winning best player when I should have won MVP.
Well, let's see if they ever gave the MVP and IBM to the same person. Let's look that up real quick. Has anyone ever won the IBM award and the MVP same year? Because I mean, I would figure somebody have.
I feel
Had
like
to be
it
David
should have.
Robinson at least once. Yes,
Maybe
multiple
Dream.
players that won the IBM award and the NBA MVP award in the same season. The IBM award, David Robinson won the IBM award 5 times: 1990, 91, 94, 95, 96, and won the MVP in 94, 95. That in that one season. Shaq also won it the year he won MVP in 99, 2000, while also getting the IBM award. Tim Duncan also did in the last year they had the IBM award, which was 01, 02. So
Mm,
he had MVP and IBM. So Shaq, David Robinson, and Tim Duncan got it in the same year. So if based off what it seems like, I think Jokic would have won this award several times.
yeah.
I think Russ would have got it a couple times, but maybe not because they weren't winning. I don't know how much winning affects the metrics that the system use. You know what I mean? But it looks to me like probably the year James Harden won MVP, he averaging 35, whatever, 36.
Mhm.
He probably would have got both, and I think Jokic probably gets both a couple times. I also think Luca wins IBM several times by now because he has 0 MVPs, but he's always hovering around 30 points, like 38 and 8, 29, 8 and 8, 27, 8 and 7. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? He's always hovering around there somewhere. So I feel like he probably would have had one by now. Giannis, because he gets a lot of points, rebounds, blocks, steals. So the same guys that are winning MVPs probably would be recognized. So maybe they do look at it like somewhat of a consolation prize, but at the same time, it's like the players also know that voters like the MVP is about storyline and
Mhm,
um, is voter fatigue comes into it. Who is hot right now? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So when stuff like that comes into play and people recognize it, at least there's something. Because then it's like, y'all, I'm really the best player in the world. Because like that now you really have claim like, man, I'm kind of the best player,
mhm,
but voters don't want to give me the MVP for these reasons. You know what I mean? Or I'm really the best player, but SGA is the number one seed. He wins MVP. I'm Nikola Jokic. I'm fourth seed, averaging 27, 13, and 8, or whatever it was, leading the league in rebounds. I'm the best player. He's
mhm.
just the best player on the best team. So I think I don't know. I ain't in the NBA. I think they would appreciate the award because at least it kind of gives you a claim to fame of like I'm still the best player, but he the
Yeah.
best player on the best team. I get it. You know what I mean?
I think it's in the same vein of the All NBA awards to where, um, like the year Jokic and B were going back and forth. It's like, okay, how do we kind of decide who's who? And I'm gonna go back we saying earlier about the co-MVP. As much as that would have been an issue to an extent, because it's like, okay, I remember talking to somebody, it's like, do you want the guaranteed 50 ball you finna get with Embiid, and you can frame the offense around him in that way, or do you want the more team ball with Yoke? Because at that point, Yoke wasn't just scoring buckets like that. He was still hovering around 20 points every once in a while. He was dropping
Mhm,
you 30. He was dropping triple doubles here and there, but nothing
mhm,
that crazy like he's doing now. And so we kind of saw the start of Jokic becoming who he is now. And then Embiid was already kind of growing for a while. We just couldn't see him be healthy. And that's probably the first year we saw him be like, okay, all my superpowers are here combined now, which ultimately got him the MVP award. So I think it'll be cool to have that go into play because now you start to see more players get recognized, like you were saying before, because it gets to a point where it's like, okay, voter fatigue kicks in, and we all know Jordan's the best player in the world, but is he always the most valuable? Oh, we know
mhm.
LeBron's the best player in the world, but is he your most valuable? So I don't know. I think sometimes that could end up being a hurtful thing because the voters be like, well, he is the most valuable player, but we don't want to give him the best player. Or he's the best player, so we want to give him most valuable. It's like, nah, bro. If I'm the best and the most valuable, give me both.
Give me both.
So I
Give
think
me
that'll
both.
be a issue because some people would be like, oh, we know LeBron's the best player, but he's the most valuable this year. No, he's not. So we're gonna give it to Curry. And it's like, don't do him like that, man. If he's the best and the most valuable, give it up to him, man. Like, don't be a hater, bro. That's what I feel that's gonna come out of that.
Don't
Like,
be a
you hating
hater.
on dude.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you. Like, but it feels like they hate on certain people anyway. Like, um, have you heard about the unanimous MVP thing of referring to LeBron? People gonna call me like a LeBron, stan or whatever, super fan. You know how people get. But
Mm-hmm.
have you heard the thing about him and his unanimous MVP?
Mm-mm.
So that year in 2014 when he was in Miami, I want to say 2014 when he won MVP, and people gonna get on me a little bit. Some people gonna obviously agree, but it is what it is. I gotta tell you. Steph Curry, the first unanimous MVP. All due respect, love Steph Curry. I respect that. LeBron was supposed to be the first unanimous MVP. Well, I don't know the full path. Maybe it had happened before LeBron, but just going off what I know. The one of the voters, and when Braun won MVP in Miami one year, you can look this up. Braun got 99 out of 100 of the votes because one voter felt at least one other person deserves to be recognized. So he felt that LeBron was the MVP, but he wanted to at least give a vote to somebody, a first place vote to somebody else, just like to recognize that they also were deserving in a way. And that person was Carmelo Anthony. As much as I love Melo, and as much as a fan of Melo I am, and what he did for the game and the culture, that's crazy. Like now, it seems almost like I get your when you explain it that way. It's like okay, it sounds nice, but it's also kind of lame because like if you could have just gave that to LeBron, and then that's history. Like I
Mhm.
said earlier, these votes be messing up history.
Yep.
So you feel with you took the challenge upon yourself to be like, we gotta recognize Melo. What, we just not gonna recognize Melo? Melo gonna be second. He gonna be runner
Yep.
up. Clearly, if you feel that way, I'm sure multiple people feel he deserves votes. But you say I'm gonna give him a first place vote because I feel he's just deserves a little recognition. And taking history away from LeBron of being the first unanimous MVP, and then fast forward 2 years later, and then we give Steph Curry the first unanimous MVP. It's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then same way with Bron, supposed to have won MVP and DPOY in the same year. And then they give it to Marc Gasol. We talked about this too. They give it to Marc Gasol. And Marc Gasol, and he a first team all defense.
Mhm.
Another center is on first team all defense. He's second team all defense, but he defensive player of the year over LeBron. And you can say what you want. I know how people get about LeBron. It's a very decisive topic. That's crazy. Both of them things are crazy. We got to do better as a society. You know what I mean? Because if I'm Brian, I'm bringing that up. I ain't gonna lie to you. I have a lot of respect for Brian for the composure that he keeps when it comes to stuff like this in media, because we all know how the media does LeBron. But stuff like these on awards and stuff, especially if I'm LeBron James and everything I said carries a little weight, it's gonna be on the news, gonna be on ESPN and everything. People gonna talk about it. Whatever I say, people gonna talk about it.
Mhm.
I'm bringing that up. Cause I'm like, so you just gonna vote for somebody else just cause? Cause is it cause you don't like me or you just love him that much? Cause then you come out publicly and say, I just feel like somebody else deserves a little recognition. I'm bringing that up, bro. Sorry to tell
Yeah.
you. I'm putting whoever that is from the New York Post on blast. Like, hey, what's up with your boy? What's up
Yeah.
with that? These the things like something like the IBM award kind of takes that out of play. And I would appreciate it. As a player,
Yeah.
I would appreciate it at least.
'Cause I would get if you genuinely felt Melo should win first place. I get that. But there's
Exactly. You said yourself you did it.
there's a reason why you have a ranking. Who is the first? Like this is the defense. Like if you only had one vote, you couldn't do second, third, fourth. No, you have one vote, and that's it. Who should win MVP? Oh, you give it to LeBron, right? All right, so shut up. Like there's no other conversation to be had. You know what the recognition Melo gets? Second place. That's the recognition he would get. Oh, he was second
MVP
place in
runner
MVP
up.
voting. He was the second place in. Oh, there was a year like we respect that. We respect. Oh, he was
We
second place
bringing
in
that up.
DPOY. He was third place in Coach of the Year. We respect that. It's like it's no slight to say, dang, that year Melo went crazy this year. We'll look back at the numbers. We look back at the film and be like, dang, Rondo went crazy the year. Why wasn't he first team? Then you see who was first team. It was Chris Paul. You see it was Derrick Rose, and it's like, oh, never mind. Because we look at it, remove the context around it. We look at just Carmelo. We look at uh Ray Allen doing them Kobe. It's just like, man, Ray was going kind of crazy. That boy is averaging 26, 5 and 5. Why he? And you look at the film, like he was doing that against who? Oh, that's going crazy. You know, Kobe went off for 32 that year. Say less. Say less. I understand. Hey, respect. So it's respect to be like, oh, he's second place for a reason. I don't want your consolation first place prize if you genuinely felt LeBron. The recognition is in the second place. I don't care about none of your feelings about that,
Yeah,
bro.
Melo don't want that vote, bro. If you gonna say that, because that kind of tarnishes it. Like, I just feel like he deserves more. I just feel like he deserves some recognition. I know
Mm-hmm.
LeBron's gonna win it. I just feel like Melo deserves some recognition. Melo don't want that, bro. He does not want that. I guarantee you. He would much rather you just go ahead and give Bron that unanimous MVP. So at least then he could say, well, Bron is the first unanimous MVP. I understand that I don't get MVP that year. But you throwing me that one vote is not making me be like, hey, bro, I got a first place vote in MVP. Y'all better respect me. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. Hey, boy, you know what? You know who you talking to? I got a vote, dog.
I'm sick, dog.
Dog, that's crazy. Y'all can look this up, dog. I'm not making this up. That's crazy. So humans voting on things like these awards, there's gonna be biases and influences from here and there. Where you're from, what teams you get to watch the most of. You from the West Coast, you gonna see more West Coast teams. You from the East Coast, you see more East Coast teams. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? It takes you're gonna have biases in some form or fashion as long as humans running the show. And I'm not saying to take out the human aspect of it because I feel like you said, I don't want to take the eye test completely away from it
mhm,
because we need to be able to see, okay, how dominant is this person really is? But like, are they unstoppable, like people love to say? And if we see it with our own eyes, like, all right, guys got to double him. They got to they focus so much on this one person just to stop him, and he's still, killing them. That's something you can only see with your own two eyes. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So you shouldn't take the eye test completely away from it, but having something unbiased, I think might help the league. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because at least there's something to hang your hat on. Like, all right, he won MVP. I get why they voted him, but statistically, I'm the best player, and
yeah,
y'all can say what you want. You know what I mean? I feel like that gives people something. It doesn't feel like a consolation prize for y'all probably because people gonna want the MVP because obviously that's like the most respected award in basketball outside of a championship and finals MVP.
mhm.
But I think people will understand, especially with time. Like I understand they gave SJ MVP. He the best player on the best team. That's how it normally goes. I am the best statistical player in the league. I'm doing the most statistically.
So we touched on this a little bit earlier, but it's kind of like how you have best player on best team versus most valuable. Then I've heard debates and stuff of like, well, he's the best player on the best team. Like you talked about before, if you take him off, they're still winning 50 games. And it's like, he's not the most valuable then. And, we remove this player on this team. We saw LeBron get took off lottery, first, matter of fact, first overall pick type of energy. And some people who are so like, okay, he's the best player on the best team, take him off. The team ain't that great. I mean, the team is still great in spite of him. He's not MVP. If you go back and look at history, that means Michael Jordan should be taken away from a lot of those MVPs because we literally saw the difference of Jordan being on that team, being off that team. They literally, I think it was 50 some games, still higher ranked in the playoffs.
Still won 50 games.
They were a bucket or two away from going to the next round. If it went, I don't know the details of it, but history says if Pippen won in his feelings, they win that series and move on to the next round. So arguably your I think he's still top five at the time. Top five player in the game gets out his feelings, you go to the next round. That's what's stopping you. It was him being his feelings stopping you going to the next round. It wasn't the other team. It wasn't the coach out coaching your coach. It's literally your best player at the time being in his feelings. It wasn't because the loss impacted Jordan. Oh, we still went to the playoff. We still won 50 plus. We still killing. So that's the case. If you're saying remove this player and we still win 50, 60 games, that means Jordan should not win. But we don't want to bring that up because it's Jordan. We can't tarnish his legacy. And so those people will probably will different because it's Jordan. No, objectively look at it. You said best player, best team should not win because if you remove him, you remove SGA from the Thunder, they're still winning 50 some games. If you remove LeBron from that Heat team, they still winning 50 some games. But I think people want to punish a great team for being well constructed by a GM, well coached, and you're not punishing them for being part of a great team. And that's not fair. And I think they need to like rewind a little bit and give them respect and praise for like, man, you were a great part of a great team. And I think they discount their impact because we saw what the difference is. It's a championship with Jordan and it's a whatever round exit without him. Now, I guess that's postseason, but that still matters because the goal is to win championship. So I think people need to kind of like rethink when they talk about this conversation of, oh, just because he's a blessed player, blessed team, we need to count him out. Like, zoom out a little bit and see the full picture.
Yeah, I agree. And to go along with your point, I just decided to look at it because you brought up something good. The best player on the best team is not always necessarily the most valuable because his team is so good. You kind of penalize them for having a good team, but like you said, you brought up Michael Jordan. Let's roll with that one. So we talked about MVP and the IBM award in the same year,
Mhm,
and I got the years in front of me. So Mike won it twice in his 14-year career, which is low for Mike considering he won 5 MVPs. The 2 years he won it was the 88-89 season, the 84-85 season. What's special about them years? They were not the prime Chicago Bulls. It was just Michael Jordan. Of course, I think Charles Oakley was there, you know what I mean? But no Pip, no Dennis Rodman, no Tony Kukoc, none of the key pieces that equal championships. Those are not championship years because
mhm,
all the championships in the 90s, obviously. So 84, 85, 88, 89. Michael Jordan wins IBM award. He's obviously the key piece of the Bulls at the time, but they are not a championship team.
mhm.
Let's go to David Robinson, who we mentioned earlier. Won in 95, 96, 94, 95, 93, 94, 90, 91, 89, 90. So so 5 of them years in them 90s where Michael Jordan was killing the league, destroying the league, David Robinson had the best statistical season. Maybe
Mhm,
because they aren't prime Spurs at the time. The Spurs didn't win a championship in those years. Yeah, because the Bulls won all the 90s and then the Rockets got two. Yeah. So they ain't win a championship none of them years because I think that's pre Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan drafted like 97, 98, something like that.
Yeah,
I
something
want to
like
say
that.
we ain't got to get
Yeah.
into it. But before Tim Duncan, David Robinson is the only, like, is the main thing on the Spurs. So it adds up to what you're saying, is what I'm trying to get to. Is Michael the years before Michael Jordan had Pip, had Rodman, had whoever, those main pieces, statistically, he did the most for his team.
Mhm,
And then when he had the better team in them years, somebody else had the better statistical season. But Mike was winning MVPs.
mhm.
So it adds up. It adds up, really. So I don't know, man. Maybe they should bring this back, bro. Maybe we need to start the movement.
I think they should, man, because I think that's where you start to see, like we talked about before, like the trajectory of a player. When you're young, get all the points, get all the individual awards you can, because it's about you and kind of framing your career, your legacy and stuff. So like we're kind of seeing
Mhm.
Ant-Man. Ant-Man's in his phase right now. Luka just kind of getting out of it. So it's like, bruh, get the buckets, get average 30. You want to get as much individual awards as you can, not collect it all. This is Jordan in the 80s.
Mhm.
Get your stats up. Do you, bro, basically.
Go crazy.
Go, bro, absolutely. Like you want to be like, I'm here. I'm top five in my position. I'm top 10 in the league. You want to get all that stuff out the way. Because it gets to a point where it's like, all right, bro, all this buckets ain't leading to winning. You killing, you averaging 30, but y'all fifth in conference. Or y'all eighth overall in the league. All right, bro. I'm in year 6. I'm in year 7. I'm in year 8. All right, bro. Time ticking. We ain't gonna win the champ. We ain't start getting in conference level. We ain't gonna start getting to the finals. Oh snap! Now I gotta win a team. I gotta figure out how to start getting to the next round. Okay, so that means I gotta go from averaging 34 to now averaging 28 because my Robin or my whoever coming in now, I have to sacrifice a little bit now. You saw with Jordan. I can't go crazy for 40 every night. I gotta pull back some and get 40 a different way because I got Pip in here. I'm not getting as many touches because Pip has to get the ball to get Kerr involved, to get Kukoc involved, to get Oak involved, whoever it is. So now we're looking at team ball. Then that takes your career to the next level. Okay, now we're trying to start picking you of like, well, you're individually based top 5 in your position, but because you got X amount of rings, we're putting you top 3 now. Okay, now you're in a different conversation. And so when
Mhm.
it comes to MVP, you're going to be terribly ranked the first 5 years, 7 years of your career because it's about you and what you can do. So if I'm having statistically Luca numbers wise, I'm going crazy. but we're ranked number 4. And somehow I will my team to the finals. Yes, show love to Kyrie. We all get the impact he had. But I will my team to the finals, but we lose. What does that say about me and my season when I lose it to Yoke? It's like, you know what I mean? So that's why I think the separating of best player this year versus the most valuable player this year should be two separate things. Because now we're having different conversations. So you're penalizing me for being young and great without the great team versus being 3 years older, a little bit more experience. He already had the shine in individual career. So now he needs to focus on team ball. So he sacrificed a little bit of stats here and there. Because I am so great, I am the number one option, I'm still finna get mine. Like Jordan didn't just go from averaging 35 to going to 25. Nah, he's still putting up 28 to 32 his whole career. Like it's not a crazy drop you saw from him. You know, he's still putting up his numbers. But
Mm-hmm.
it's the look of it and how it's like, oh, we see you don't have to defend a level A every single night, even though he was still great. It's like, oh, you can guard second best player for half the game because you got Pip. Or maybe you don't have to guard him at all because you got Pip and Rodman. So we should, in that case,
Mm-hmm.
we should penalize Jordan because he had so much great help. He had Ron Harper on the other end. So it's like where you can take off, still average 35 because you have Pip and Ron Harper right there to guard for you. Not to say he backing off of it because those 5 minutes they spared you meant a lot. Those next quarter where you add 6 minutes where you guarding whoever else meant a lot. So you can focus more on off ball. That means you have to get your steals off ball now because Pip pressuring, locking them up, he deflecting the ball away. Now you can run and scoop it up. You go on the other end, boom. So I think we got to reevaluate this a little bit. Go best player versus most valuable player, and don't discredit somebody because they're young trying to get their individual stats up versus the guy who's a little bit older trying to win and play team ball. So I think that's what kind of separates two of like, okay, young Luca, get your stuff off. You had the best season this year. You best player this year. Versus yo, you're the most valuable, or however you want to flip it up with whatever it makes sense. But man, we start that moving, bro. Best player versus most valuable player award. If you start getting out there.
Yeah, I think it's time, man, for sure, bro. I like. I need to. Well, what I also would like to see, I would like to see somebody go back in time and take the algorithm, whatever it was that they used to come up with these awards, and see who would have won up to now because they stopped it 25 years ago. Let's see how many LeBron gets. Let's see how many Jokic gets. Let's see how many, if SGA gets one, if Giannis gets some, Russ might get some. Shoot, Chris Paul might get some.
Mm,
All the times he go to a team and make them winners, maybe he gets some. Who knows? But uh, I would very much like to have seen that because it tells you something. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think of it like with Mike, and this is the last thing I don't want to hold up too long, but like with Mike in the 80s, and he wins it twice. He a young player, he's going crazy. I think of it like these awards is like if I give the keys to a 16-year-old just got his license, I give him the keys to a Ferrari. Like, hey brother, here we going there. Do what you do. Like, figure it out. Uh, you know how to drive. You got your license. Here go the keys. Let's just get there.
Hmm.
And then what they happen? They go 100, 110, 120, 150. Like they going.
Hmm.
I'm going all out. They gave me the keys to a Ferrari. I'm going. I'm taking off. Some of them crash. Some of them make it. They get close, but you know they going crazy. They got a Ferrari. Then you get a little bit older. You get the keys to the station wagon. You got your wife next to you. She gonna give you directions. She got the GPS on hand. You got kids in the
Hmm.
back. We're gonna drive safely, but we gonna get there. Like
Hmm.
everybody get in. We gonna get there. Buckle up. I got it. You got the directions. Let's
Hmm.
do it. You feel me? That's kind of how it feels. That's the MVP. The guy driving
Mm.
the station wagon with his wife and the kids in the back. And she giving the directions, she on the aux, she doing the music. I'm driving though. Let's just drive. I got it. You handle everything else. You got the kids got snacks in the back. Y'all don't worry about that. But that young boy that got the key to the Ferrari, like he's going. He going 150. And that we respect that. Like, hey, brother, you got your Ferrari. Go ahead.
Mhm.
You got your Lambo. Take off. You got it. You earned it. But in a couple of years, when did you settle down?
Yep.
Get you a wife, some kids, a family. I'm gonna get you this minivan. We're gonna go all the way.
Yep.
Because you ain't making it in the Lambo. You ain't making it. You crashed a couple times, got pulled over, got a couple tickets. I'm gonna give you this minivan. I need
Mm,
you to get the family to the championship safely. That's the MVP. He more
mm,
valuable. This is more valuable than this.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I look at it. Let's reward the guy who earned the Lamborghini, who earned the fast car to himself. It's just him in the car. Hey, brother, here go the keys. Do what you do. Get us as far
Mhm,
as you can. We respect that guy, but we also gonna respect the dad that makes sure his family gets to the championship.
mm.
That's what I want to see from now on. Let's bring it back, dog. And matter of fact, I'm running for president. This is gonna be my this is my first campaign speech. I
President of the
want
NBA
I want
awards.
that to come. Come on, Adam Silver, come holler at your boy, man. We got plenty of good ideas out here for y'all. We give them to you for free. I expect compensation before long. You know what I mean? Let's get that motion going.
That's a bar, man. That was probably the best analogy. Hey, that probably the closest analogy we done had in a couple episodes, but that was a fire one. I think that's a beautiful way to
Hey,
put it.
brother, I appreciate it. It came to my mind as you were talking about Mike and like being young and stuff, and I was like, man, this is just like, you get the keys to the car, you go crazy.
Mhm.
But let's reward the man in the minivan. You know what I'm saying? Let's reward that guy. But let's also reward the guy who earned the fast car. It's just him in the car. He taking off. You and your boys, y'all in the fast car. You rented it, but hey, just make sure we get back. Do what you
Yeah.
do. That we can reward both. We can reward both.
I think that's the best way to put it, man. I think you want to have your Ferrari award winner. You want to have the minivan award winner. Both of them mean a lot. Both of them getting eyes on the team. Both of them mean something. Their impact should be there and respect both of them. But because it's so pigeonholed to just being one award, you sometimes get the Derrick Rose who just happens like it's a lot of times like John Morant. He probably would have got one that year when we looking at Memphis, like, oh, they're the young bucks. They should come up at some point. But it's like, hold on now. How y'all win second in conference this year? We weren't expecting that. Oh, you should win the IBM award, or maybe it's the MVP award. But it's John Morant and it's the Grizzlies. So it's like, they'll be all right. Next year it's their year. No, it went. They went down fast. So go like you were saying earlier, y'all got to quit with this next year mentality. No, bro. Like Isaiah Thomas, he should win an All Star. He should get no. There was them 2 years, and that hip injury tore that man up. He was not the same after that.
Mhm.
Oh, this player, he'll make it. Nope, no, he won't. That man slept one time and he done. So I think we got to
Mhm.
do the best we can to make sure we looking forward into history to respect it now, which is hard to do. But you don't want to look back 10, 15, 20, 50 years and be like, dang, man, I was trying to show love to Carmelo and earn LeBron legacy. And LeBron deserved that. I was trying to be all cute and be all buck against the system, showing Carmelo love. And it's like, second place was there for a reason, brother. It's okay. It's all right.
Literally. And they get like 5 votes, some crazy stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like they get like the vote for 5 people, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. And you just gonna do that for what? He was gonna be second either way. Either way. But yeah, man. It's something to think about though. Like,
Yeah.
how much would that help the league? You know what I mean? Or how much would that help some guys' legacy to recognize what they was doing at the time that y'all decided to give MVP to a guy with a better team or a better record?
Hmm.
It gives us another thing to be like, okay, like statistically though, he was the most like the best player,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. So something to think
Yeah.
about, man. Let's put that in the next meeting, NBA. Let's put it on the dock.
I think this would have been more valuable than the whole Eastern Western Conference MVP. I think that's cool. I get it,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I don't know. It just feels cute. I don't know. It feel like it doesn't mean as much. At least in my eyes, I don't see it being as valuable. But now, if you throw this most valuable versus best player this year, oh, that's a whole different conversation you're having now. But you're rewriting history. Well, brother, y'all had it. y'all just took it out for whatever reason. So it ain't me trying to like completely rewrite history. It was there for what 20 years. Y'all decided to stop it for whatever reason, and y'all didn't make it official. It should have been official, but maybe because I don't know. Maybe saw LeBron coming in and like, oh, he finna be the next Jordan. Let's cancel out before he get to the league. He said he stopped it in '02. He got drafted in '03. So, oh, he finna get drafted next year. Let's take it out before he get in there. But that's not the Jordan LeBron conspiracy theory stuff. You know, folks take that too far. I'm just joking, people. I'm just joking. Don't kill me. You know, but, oh, y'all team LeBron. Y'all gotta do this Jordan versus LeBron. Relax, bro. I'm joking. But yeah, man. I think that's something to have there, bro. I think this is the most valuable conversation around MVP ever. So, yeah, this is the final conversation or debate we need to have about the MVP award. There's no way to be had about this. So just replay this one back every time the MVP comes up and be like, okay, who's the best player? Who's the most valuable player? And we're going by who had the most impact off of this. And by that standard and metric, you got your MVP. So with that being said, we're not giving y'all MVP talks. We just want to get the framework of how you have the MVP talks. All right. So, anything else you want to say before we get out of here, man?
Nah, man, that was a good one, bro. Um, but with that being said, quickly, so we get out of here. Who was your MVP? Because as we record this, MVP has not come out. I think this before. Who
Mhm.
was your MVP this season? If you had a vote, you like we only go in first place though. You got one vote.
So, going by everything we've said today and in this episode, I would have to go Jokic because if you remove Jokic and put in some average player who can do some level of what he does, I think we look at the Nuggets fighting for a play-in spot versus not to discount SGA, but going by what we said earlier, if you're replacing with an average player, we look totally different at this team. So we're looking at let me pull it back up again. All right, so the Western Conference standings look like Thunder being
Yeah, I
first
agree.
and yeah, Nuggets being third. If you remove, we're looking at totally different. We're looking at Thunder still being top four, maybe, probably still top four. The Nuggets, it ain't looking good. So if you remove the value that Jokic brings versus the value that SGA brings, SGA matters more in postseason time because we're looking at him boosting them from 50 something games to 60 something games. We're looking at the Nuggets going from 54 dropping down to like 30 something. So off of that, I'm not trying to penalize SGA for having a better team. He matters a lot, but maybe SGA is the best player, but Jokic is the most valuable player. So I think that's why I kind of settled that. Like SGA, most dominant, cool, whatever. Best player this year. Jokic, he's the most valuable. You remove him and place him with some other average center in the league, we're looking at him differently. So SGA, best player. Jokic, most valuable.
I agree with everything you said about Jokic. I think my MVP might have been Luca, just based on that same metric. Jokic is definitely one or two. Jokic and Luca, Jokic. I wouldn't be mad at either one just because, like you said, I feel like they are the most valuable to their team. Shea is the best player on the best team. They dominate. I think he deserves his award because I'm sure they're going to give it to him. So, but by our metric, the IBM is going to Luca or Jokic by those metrics. I feel Jokic leads the league in rebounds and assists as a center. He probably getting it, but Luca averaging 33 led the league in scoring, also 8 rebounds and 8 assists, something like that. So
Mhm.
I think one of those two would have got the IBM this year for sure. But I think Luca probably gets the IBM a couple times. But nah, maybe not Jokic. Jokic gets it a couple times for sure.
Yeah.
But Luca definitely probably has at least one or two because he's always up tops of scoring, averaging close to 10 assists, everything close to a triple double, basically. Jokic is just averaging a triple double. So I think he probably would have got it more often than not. But I'm okay with Shea winning MVP, of course. I think, you know, voting wise, gonna give it to him based on all the other things we discussed earlier. Like they win the most, they're the best team, he's the best player, and he's having a great season. I don't want people to think I'm saying he's not good or whatever. He's having a great season. But in terms of value, I think I got to give it to Yoka or Luca as well. I probably lean more towards Luca, but I do think the Nuggets are trash without Jokic. Honestly, Jamal Murray is great, but I don't see him being the number one option if we win in 50 games at all.
Yeah.
I think we barely making the playoffs, and that's all due respect to Jamal Murray, but that's just how great Jokic is. You know what I mean? And how much he gives to a team. So yeah, I just want to get that answer before we got up out of
Yeah, I think with that, you would end up seeing a little more love for Cade Cunningham, a little bit more love for Jalen Brown too, because I think you remove Cade from the Pistons, we look at them a little bit differently.
here.
You
Yeah,
feel me? So I think Cade will get some more love because of this, and the whole injuries and stuff, the whole 65 game minimum thing. I get it,
for sure.
but we're seeing the pain points of trying to enforce that because I don't know. I think there should be like an asterisk of genuinely being hurt. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't discredit me because, like, Jokic has been hands down the best center. Like, there's no other center touching him. But he's now being penalized and not having being first team All NBA when we know Jokic was the best center this year. No ifs, ands, or buts. But no,
Mhm.
we look back at history again. Oh, he's not getting it because he played 63 games. It's like, what? That man averaged triple double. He's not first team. All right, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like it gets to a point where it's like we
Mhm.
kind of messed up on this. So I think they kind of need to rework it or something to where you still respect the impact this player had in spite of the injuries or whatever. Because like Embiid, same thing. Like we know that man's killing, and the impact he had in 60 games outdoes what this other player did in 82. And it's like, come on now, like you finna knock me for being second team All NBA, and now I'm being third team or not even team at all. And no offense, I ain't gonna say his name, but this other player gets this award now because he just played more games than me, knowing my impact and value is so much more higher. So they need to rework that some. And I think you see a lot more respect to different players in different ways, but I think that's it, man. So like I said, last MVP debate we ever need to have. This solidifies or provides a lot more structure behind who should win MVP, man. So if you agree, put in the comments. Let us know. Yeah, you're right. We should have MVP based around this. Y'all sound crazy. Jordan should have won 10 MVPs. Y'all just hating. LeBron ain't nothing. He trash, and y'all love David Robinson too much, and blah blah blah. All right, bro. Whatever. Let us know in the comments. We take it all. So appreciate y'all for watching. Appreciate y'all for listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Keep watching for the rest of this journey because you never know what fire debate we're gonna have next. Appreciate y'all. See you next video.